Let's bring back TSN Hockey analyst Martin Biron to talk about the latest trade bait list. Marty, there's been a lot of movement. In fact, Jake Markstrom, you and I have been talking about him a lot this season. He jumps from number 35 last week to number 1 this week. We know the teams that are interested in upgrading their goaltending, teams like Jersey, Carolina, Colorado. Do you see a fit with any of those squads for Jake Markstrom?
Not only do I see a fit, Jay, I see a perfect fit, right? We just had Valentine's Day. This is a match made in heaven with the New Jersey Devils. Calgary was just in New Jersey, and so the Devils got to see the best of Jacob Markstrom. But I really feel that with the return of Jack Hughes and the step forward that the Devils want to make, I think there's an opportunity in the Eastern Conference for the Devils to make their way to the Stanley Cup final. And Jacob Markstrom would be just the piece that they need right now. And really, like, what else is there? I understand that it's going to cost a lot for the Devils to acquire Jacob Markstrom. He has 2 more years at $6 million. It's not just this season, but it would help you for the next 2 years. But who else is out there? You know, Jake Allen, Marc-Andre Fleury, John Gibson, Capo Kakinen. Like, there's nobody that's close to the level of Jacob Markstrom right now. And if you're the Devils and you're serious about the aspiration that you have to go deep in the playoffs with the players that you have right now, you got to get a goaltender. I think the only option and the perfect fit is Jacob Markstrom.
Let's talk about the top 5 of the trade bait list, Marty. At number 4, you've got Jake Guentzel, the Pittsburgh Penguins. At number 5, you had the Edmonton Oilers 2024 first-round pick. Seems like a Valentine's Day match there, too. If you're the Oilers, Marty, do you throw that first-round pick, maybe Philip Broberg, another prospect at the Penguins, and try to go for Guentzel, or do you maybe play it a bit more safe? There's been a lot of talk about maybe Jordan Eberle returning to Edmonton. Do you maybe play it a bit more safe and bring back Eberle to the team he was drafted to?
Well, listen, I think we can all be romantic and say, hey, or Eberle to the Oilers would be fun. But no, if I'm making a move, the Oilers, I'm going for Jake Guentzel. He's 29 years old. He's over a point a game this year. What an ad this would be for the Edmonton Oilers to go and say, hey, we can throw a first-round pick and more, because it's going to cost more than just a first-round pick for Jake Guentzel. But it puts you right there on the same level as Colorado, as the Vancouver Canucks, as the Winnipeg Jets. And now you probably move up in the odds of winning a Stanley Cup if you're the Edmonton Oilers. So I understand that. Look, it's going to be a tough sell. Number one, with the cap hit, right? Pittsburgh cannot retain any salary on Jake Guentzel. So maybe you got to get a broker, a third party to help with the transaction. But it is going to cost you a lot, right? Because it's a rental, but it's a high price rental right now for Jake Guentzel. So, hey, if you want to swing for the fence, for me, if you're the Oilers, you go Jake Guentzel and nobody else.
All right. Here's my favorite question of the week. Phil Kessel, 36 years old. Skates with the Canucks AHL affiliate on Wednesday. Looks pretty good, too. Phil Kessel, the idea of a 4th cup would be incredible. Do you see him contributing to a Canucks Cup run?
Listen, I think he's going to help, but maybe not as much on the ice as we would all want him to do. But look, Phil Kessel last year played 4 games for the Vegas Golden Knights in the playoffs. And everybody talked about how he was around, how he was, just himself. He had a smile every day. And now that he has 3 cups, he can definitely help the Canucks with his experience and say, hey, this is what we went through with Pittsburgh in our back-to-back cups. He was on a great third line. Remember with Nick Bonino, Carl Hagelin, Phil Kessel? They were so good together. Now that's a long time ago. But he can also bring the experience and maybe fill in a role in the bottom 6 and get elevated a couple of times depending on the performances. I don't see Phil Kessel coming into Vancouver and all of a sudden being the top 2 lines and having this incredible production offensively. If that was the case, I think there'd be a lot of other teams that would have inquired and probably signed Phil Kessel. But his experience from last year in Vegas, his experience with Pittsburgh, his connection with Rick Tocchet, right? He was one of the coaches in Pittsburgh back then. So I think all of this makes it a perfect marriage for Phil Kessel and the Vancouver Canucks. And I can't wait to see him in the NHL again. I think the NHL is a better place with his smile, his attitude, his skill set, even though it's limited with age. But I still think it's a great place for him.
Couldn't agree more. The NHL, a better place with Phil Kessel. This network, a better place with Martin Biron. Don't forget, this guy's going to be part of our Trade Center coverage on March the 8th. Marty, thanks for this. We appreciate it.
Thank you.